thought I'd have a better shot for the night because, oh, that's not as bad. Because, like, that's the moon we got. But it's also very cloudy and overcast, so. One minute, we got a vehicle coming. I'll get some light and see which way the camera's facing at least. Right now, we're almost 2 miles into our 4-mile hike into work. I was iffy on, okay, it's facing down the other side of the gaming channel, the walking side. I'm about 2 miles into work. We're not picking up trash today because I only can, but if the storm hits, I'm afraid I'll have to go for a little bit, y'all. I get off around 12, so probably Ingles Pharmacy and get Dear Bear Beater's prescription so he doesn't die. That's also why instead of having my fun new canvas I drew on a trademark tote bag, I got my lovely Ingles sack because it's airtight. This is also your nightly reminder that while the speed limit in a lot of Georgia has bumped from 45 to 65 on the back roads, this is not one of those. It's not like they're going to stop you, but I know for a fact at the end of this road where the gas station is, there's an officer just waiting to meet you if you're going as fast as that individual was. Like I said, y'all, I get stuck in a weird place a lot of the time with them because, like, are you Harley local cops? I've never seen them do anything good or bad. Does that make sense? They're there. I feel they deter bad behavior, I guess. But as far as, like, they're just there, and I appreciate that in this currently charged climate. Like I said, y'all, this is going to be a lot of no script yapping because we're just sort of walking and vibing and jotting down little mental notes of the positives so far while we've. And I can hear I could hear the grasshoppers. Some of them are pretty consistent, like the one that's just steady going right now. But if you listen, there's a faint one that I think is coming from the fields area, which would probably be more of our locust. Out of breath, it's been. Well, yesterday was a pretty lazy day, but I'm worried about our girl. I can say that the bandages I changed from the bad bite she took, they got a clean pus in them, but I still don't like pus. Pus is still pus, you know? And it's not. She's going to be all right, I think, as long as we keep it clean. But it brings to mind what one of my coworkers said to me that just, given my coworker's age, it hurt my heart. Like, if this coworker had been like a kid, it wouldn't have bothered me as much because kids have a certain belief in magic. But as an adult, I'm just like, oh, honey. I didn't say nothing because, again, this person's my elder, but it's basically she is talking about, well, I just don't know how them pets know how when something's poisoned. Which immediately in my head, well, that's a red flag. Whose pet did you try to poison? Well, no, not that, no. It's just old Fluffy back home. My daddy put out the rat poison and killed a mighty whopper-sized rat. And his cat was just batting its body back and forth. Didn't eat it or nothing. It's like it knew it was poisoned. And all that went through my head is, no, it was a cat. It was likely a well-fed cat. So no, of course it didn't want to eat the dead, rotten rat. It did want something to play with, though. I mean, that's just basic animal behavior. And like I said, I don't want to take away nobody's magic, but then when she goes, well, that's why I'm not worried about all these farms using pesticides. Because the wild animals know, the right ones do. And I'm just like, no, you should check out a book. It was written back when you were a little kid, probably, but it's called Silent Spring. Because back in the day, a lot of this shit the administration is pulling out has been, oh, sorry, chat, I did not mean to ignore you. In order, I said hello to Abel Towner. Hello, Alicia Emmons Morena. Hey, that wolf guy, what up? Hello, Alicia Emmons Morena. Hello, Josh P. And hello, Tashi T. Sorry for ignoring y'all. I don't try to, but at this level of the dark, I'm kind of just watching for headlights so I can get out the road. I'm also trying to watch the skies, traveler, because storms be in the area. Not dragons, I'm not that fucked up, right? But my problem with what this current administration's doing is it's been done in the past to horrible, catastrophic ends. I mean, for example, before the EPA was a thing, you had a real see, that's why I have to watch around me. Before the EPA was a thing, we had a real problem in this country with like rivers catching fire because they were so polluted. You couldn't, like, as a kid, I remember the river behind us, that you couldn't really swim in that river because so much of the runoff from the power plant, not by how clean it was, but by how, like, it would eat into you. And yeah, then the EPA comes along, things are passed, and maybe I was seeing the actual effects of it in my lifetime because I'm too young for the EPA to have been passed when I was still young, but y'all get what I'm saying. They basically had to clean it up. Because I know what world the fucking rich people are living in. They don't care. They can buy bottled water. And so that just means they won't vacation to the south anymore. They'll find a new location they can see. But for those of us who live here, for those of us like yourselves, I'm assuming, that have that life in the back room, yeah, exactly. But Josh P., what I'm concerned with is like what just happened in D.C. I called it when he got in. I called it when the election was being ran. I called it when I heard, and the Republican nominee against Biden is Trump. I'm like, why? He tried to usurp the Constitution. He murdered a D.C. police. The man is a low-grade Batman villain. He's the scammer. I mean, he belongs in a... He's not going to leave willingly. And be damned if I'm not right. One person in his administration gets their ass kicked by children, mind you. Children beat this man's ass. And I can't really say his name on the internet willingly because YouTube's gotten so pearl clutchy with their thing. But to my knowledge, the man's name is Big Balls with a Z. I hate the timeline we're living in, y'all. What the fuck is this news I'm reporting to y'all? But Big Balls with a Z got jumped. Now, the first story I heard was he was basically out on the town, a man of the government about for the evening. And he came upon some rapscallions busting into his girlfriend's car. So then he tried to stop the scallywags. Did they give him a throbbing? And then, okay, well, that's not what happened. The girl was also beating his ass. Okay, so what happened? Again, from what I hear, he tried to stop a carjacking, and both of these little 15-year-olds beat his ass. Possibly because all MAGA people are weak little bitch boy, effectively taking DC like we're playing ye old Risk, Civil War edition. And I'm just like, God save us all, but just my political theory here, y'all. I think Big Balls was hitting on this 15-year-old girl because a lot of the Trump administration's got a real problem with we'll call it liking them young rather than calling it pedophilia. Because we're not getting into splitting the hairs of what flavor pedophilia they all are. They're very different flavors. Some of them like teens, some of them like babies. Either way, we're getting off of that. And I'm guessing that Big Balls tried to hit on this 15-year-old. This 15-year-old's boyfriend was all like, hey, fuck off. What the fuck are you doing here, mate? Because in my mind, everyone talks like it's a 1930s gangster movie. And he basically got his ass whooped for trying one too many times after the lady said, hey, fuck off. And being the big MAGA boy he is, he immediately ran to Daddy Trump and said they kicked his ass while he was trying to be Batman. Because they all like cosplaying superheroes, but none of them really understand the superheroes they're trying to cosplay. Either way, that's just my take on it. And that's just my not a political theory. Because I'm still trying to piece together how the fuck this made the news. Like, this made the serious news, and I'm just like, there's an active genocide going on. Our president is meeting with an active warlord from Russia. that has been raging his own civil war against a smaller population that's totally been trouncing his ass. There's more important shit than Big Balls getting his shit rocked. I mean, hell, the economy ain't getting no better. And from what I've heard, y'all, sweeping legislation is coming. They've already made van life questionable. And don't get me wrong, y'all, people living out their vans and in tiny houses, part of that's good for the economy and environment. A large part of that is a big warning sign. But I don't know housing yet, and I'm studying ecology right now, friends. So that's what I'm going to say. Right now, where I'm at, it is hot and muggy, and I don't like what that spells out for our future. But hearing all the insect life, maybe the rainforest will survive. Hopeful, hopium, stab in the dark. Because as the equator moves, and as the center point of this earth becomes a death ray section, it might just make this the new rainforest if such a thing can happen. I don't know. I know that I've never seen passion fruit growing in Georgia wild in the ditch. I harvested it. A minute. Where you're at in the food chain. I hear 1 or 2 coyotes. I ain't worried. I hear 5 or 6 and they're not a decent distance away and get it. You know what I mean? This place doesn't have a sidewalk. And you can tell how wonderful the lighting is here in Georgia. You get all the lighting you need from people that don't understand bright lights are only meant to be used in an emergency. It's not their fault though. Hell, their car might have come with those as the default now. I ain't bitching about it in a few weeks. Get ready. Here comes the bitching about it. Why possibly be arrested? But they can drive around with like the sun in their dashboard. Like I've seen them so bad before that when they flipped on the lights, I had to stop walking. I had to like get behind something. It was so bright, it was unpleasant. And some of them just got that as the default. So it's like, okay, you regulate the kids to not have squatted trucks. I get that, being that when you squat a truck on its back axis, it basically makes it to where you can't see for about 5 feet. You know the general population is under 6 foot tall, right? Like 6 foot is the reg, so you'll see the top of most people's heads. You're basically turning your truck into a child death machine. So I get why they don't allow people to like do that with their trucks anymore. I kind of get with the wheelie packs, because if you jack up your truck but you don't know what you're doing, your truck turns itself into a projectile. I don't want to get crushed because you don't know how to put bolts in correctly. So I kind of get that. You know, there should be laws. We live in, as the Joker would say, a society. Mile. We're at the Styles. We have officially hit mile 2 on the way in. 2 more miles to go. And it's like, you know, yeah, kind of. Like I said, it's been a rough one, y'all, but hell, it's 2 because it's not my vet. My vet's clear on the other side of town. But nearest vet is that street light. One second, let me get. See the building? I had to take shelter. Oh, no, you don't. There you are. And lock in. That building. That's the vet clinic. If I wanted to take this poor cat to somewhere, I would have to bundle her and carry her on foot to here to have them basically say, well, I'm sorry, sir, there's nothing we can do. So it's like I had to learn how to be a vet, not because I wanted to, not because I even thought I could, but because I love my animal and I don't want her to die. So I learned. I mean, hell, I used to be of the mindset, if I can chew it and swallow it and it don't eat me first, yeah, it's a fine running vehicle. And it smells like a bar. Poor fella. Either way, I used to be of the mindset, if I can chew it and it don't eat me first, that's my diet. Well, then Dad got the Alzheimer's, and he had great VA benefits and shit. But it's one of those, you can't always get to the VA. That's why I shudder when I hear these new things that are passing that'll make it to where vets can only get medical service comped at the VA. Which that doesn't mean they can only go to the VA. They can still go to the hospital like you or me. The difference is the only places that will be covered financially will be the VA. So it really comes down to, Grandpa, do you want to go for 9 hours and then wait for another 12 to see a doctor about your chest pains? Or do you want to go to this hospital, which will take 3 hours, but the difference in price is like $100 versus about $200,000. So it's like, ugh. And these aren't just for those of you who are, paid. That means these motherfuckers that supposedly fought and served and all that, thank you very kindly, sir. They basically get fucked. At the very least, the people who are willing to murder for our country should be able to get medical service. Yeah? If not the children, if not the helpers, if not the teachers, the politicians get health service. The ultra wealthy get their select brand of health service. It'll even come out to the house to them. That's why we got to start helping each other. Like right now, if I were to get a vehicle, which I'm not, but if I were, first thing I'd be trying to do is get a carpool together where I can share this vehicle with others around me, at least in the neighborhood area, that we could start, building. Because y'all, the first thing they're going to take once the government takes shit down is the grid. Because, I'm big and bad, and I'm a holler clean until I can get around it. Whereas, I put pamphlets out. Well, now you got to pick up all the pamphlets before someone reads them. If I start putting pamphlets out and speaking, well, now you've got to stop me, stop my pamphlets, and stop the message. You're picking up what I'm putting down, yeah? We've got to be just as good, if not better, than our competition is right now. Because it's not going to get better, y'all. It's going to get a lot worse. Also, the hydroponics are doing good. The kitten came out of Bear Beater's room on her own and came to see me this morning. So she's on the mend. She's so little, guys. She's so little. And it scares me so bad having to work on her. I mean, at this point, it's like when my grandmother had her problem with her gut and they did her surgery. I got a crash course in wound care then at the the ripe old age of 12. And instead of spending summers at the library like I was used to, well, now it was summertime taking care of Grandma's gut wound. I learned what rot smelled like. I learned what stitching looked like in various stages of good to bad. I learned how to be tender with my hands, because you don't just want to go sloshing around there like you're cleaning out a trash can. And I hated every goddamn second of it, I'll be honest with you. I'm happy to have helped and made her life just a little bit easier, but I hated every goddamn second of it. The reward in that comes from the fact that you saved a life, not what you were doing while you did it, because pus smells terrible and it's sticky. There's no way to actually prepare for a goddamn thing. And $20 literally just got eaten up by the store next door because I needed gauze pads to clean, and I needed the non-stick gauze pads to bandage. And I needed a wrap, that way I could, I could take scissors and trim the cat's fur without having to shave the entirety of a belt on this poor cat. But I mean, all in all, it went pretty well. The reason all that went through my head was, I wonder what normal people's memories are like. Yeah, most definitely. Evolution is 100% real. And it, more than just being real, y'all, we can prove it. At this point, I can even say that look up the Universal Genome Project, or look up Aaron Ra, capital A, lowercase a, R-O-N, Ra, capital R-A, like the sun god. He's an older feller, looks like a metalhead, and he's pretty cool. He raises snakes. And he's tried a couple times to be a Texas politician. So as an atheist trying to do that, that's pretty fucking awesome in my opinion. Real badass if you ask me. But he not only did that, but as a charity help, and what he and one of his teams has been doing is the Genome Project, the Tree of Life. They've been from the very first detected organisms we've got, the smallest ones that are on record, all the way up to where we're at, mapping it completely. Also mapping every other creature we can in between. It's a project that so far I've known about for over 10 years. They've been working on it for a long time. And they've already challenged they face. And if you are good at web design with a real passion and no love of money, contact them. They've got the tree set up done. The problem is that with how many genuses, how many phylums, how many animals there are, they want to map it in such a way that you could theoretically put this on a biology classroom wall. Or you could make a catchy sign to take to your local church or something. Only the assholes, only the ones that preach against the scientific method. Because I think we're all very tired of, well, if humans came from apes, where's the missing link? Ho, ho. And it's like, which one do you want? We've got plenty. Which link are you hunting? Currently, it sounds like I'm being hunted. Told y'all there was a cop back there. Clearing the road. It's almost haunting in the dark. But yeah, y'all, let's let them go by its sounds. Yep, that'd be a cop. I see the blue. What the heck? See? Okay. Almost looks like a kid's toy. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say better, but the one thing that I constantly say, and I guess not everybody sees the positive in it, the only thing that is a guarantee, the only thing, is everything's going to change. We get one more, though, and after that, we'll get one more. It's, like I said, to my knowledge, your death is the end of you, but that's not the end of your story, if that makes sense. All the lives you touched in between, all the people you helped out or hurt, well, they take your story onward for at least a few years if you're any good. And then beyond that, I mean, then you get into the acts you did. Why do you think Trump's trying to put his name on every fucking building in New York? Like he's playing some sort of fucked up game of capture the flag. It's his bid for immortality because his meat suit's rotting away while he's in it. He wants to be remembered for good things, or if nothing else, at least be remembered. He doesn't realize that, hell, ask most Americans who Henry Taft is. Taft, before Trump, was the fattest president we've ever had in office. Didn't really do anything good or bad, just got stuck in his bathtub more than once. That's what I know about Taft. What the children of the future will know about Trump is that he was a pathetic, wannabe Pol Pot dictator who could not get the actual power backing to do what he wanted, but damn did he try, like a bunch. At least that's what I think. I could be proven wrong. I've been wrong before about things. I never thought America would elect a pedophile as our fucking commander-in-chief. I mean, I thought mighty low of our country, let me be clear with you, but Lord, the bar, she is truly in hell. I don't know, y'all. Right now I'm getting the pitter-patter of little raindrops, and I'm like, because I need to try if I can get a few extra hours this week, or some very beautiful subscriber wants to throw some cash into my Buy Me a Coffee. I hate the way that website's named. I need like $40 to get a new phone that ain't cracked. And then with that other phone, I can make that one strictly my YouTube phone, use the one in my hand as my everyday access phone, and take the non-cracked one with the better camera and actually like do a Discord, do the whole thing. I just have one problem with Buy Me a Coffee, and I want to find a better app. Something like a Patreon, if you will, Because I've looked, and one, Buy Me a Coffee takes so long to upload anything to it, it doesn't really work or function. I've been trying to put my portfolio on there for a while, and like every other picture, it takes a day to upload. It doesn't work for shit. And yeah, y'all, I want to show y'all the art projects I would ideally like for my shop to function mainly as y'all buying upscaled artwork and me taking that money to run the idea, not really me having to get on here and ask for money, you know? More important things need your money. Public radio needs your money. If you're in the New York area, Ron Mandani might need your money. Cool of you. But why is the internet making it so difficult to sell, you know? That's my only thing. But I got to Buy Me a Coffee. Eventually I'm going to get a Patreon. Once I get another phone, that way I can put all the functions on it and streamline it, I'll kick. I'll have you hang out outside of work and just document the bugs and such while I work for 6 to 9 hours. Like I said, I'm not worried about being a Truman Show person. I just, you know, I don't want to be a bad example. We got plenty of bad examples. I want to be a positive force. Someone telling y'all how to clean up around you. How to make stuff that'll be handy and help you survive when the system goes. Like basement dwelling types. Like there's nothing that makes me happier and more amused. I will never click on them than when YouTube's like, hey, you should check out the quartering Jeremy. And I'm looking at his terribly AI generated little thumbnails and I'm just, yeah, buddy, you got more viewers than me, but for how much longer? Our group steadily grows, and at least I know the folks that are coming around to watch us. I help each other survive. Build a union if you're able, but understand right now in this economy, if you try to build a union, they're going to try to be stomping on you the minute you get it going. So build in secret until you're ready. Like I said, y'all, I don't like to say it, but I do think that, you know, hard times be a-coming. And when that happens, a whole lot of us are going to have to get a whole lot better at doing shit that was just beneath us until now. It's like, do you know how long it took me to get to where I could do my laundry in a bucket? I would love to go to the laundromat. I just can't justify. Also, I should say, we pay by the amount we use, and days like today, David will probably sleep in till around 12 o'clock-ish. And then, you know, we're very frugal with our resources, or as frugal as we can be. Like I said, y'all, the other part of it's just, I do want to do a good wind up and I want to perform for y'all. The other part of it, I don't want to be rude, and I am walking through great luxury jackasses and very working class. They probably got to be up in a few hours. So it's like trying to be polite. But I'm still going to bitch because honestly, they built all of this, but no sidewalk. The pepper mill, the neighborhood's been here for quite some time. All these houses are the last 30 years, I'd say. And I don't understand why Americans build shit to fall apart other than we heard designed obsolescence and thought that's a good idea to make people buy stuff. Lots of stuff. The other thing that annoys me about that, though, is for some reason old people want to blame that on China and Japan and the like. And it's like, no, that is not an Asian trait, friends. That is strictly an American trait. Japan did the building the way they did to try to avoid that particular catch. Americans saw that and went, son, that's not a bug, that's a feature. I mean, that's why if you buy genuine Japanese architecture, that thing will last longer than you will, friend. Hell, I had my grandfather's kimono until recently, and that kimono he wore since he was my age. Now, would I wear it? Not really, because it was very old, but it had lasted that long, you know? But again, it doesn't surprise me people are easily fooled. Most people, when they hear Chinese work, they don't think of great works of like jade and onyx with Muslims. But still, here's what they did for about fucking 100 years, it seems like. They just took America's shit. We sent them garbage. We sent insults their way. We sent everything we could to be mean to them. They built our railroads. They built our infrastructure. Of course, with the help of some, indentured servants, slaves, black African slaves. They built our infrastructure. And now we want to basically call them cheap. And it's like, excuse you? And now our system's falling apart basically because China said, no, we're not going to take your garbage anymore. I don't care how much you pay us for it. We're done disposing of that. They've already got engines that run on recycled plastic, so they don't need our garbage anymore. Also, we stopped being tech producers like 20-something years ago. Now we take in, we buy, and we regurgitate and we modify, but we don't really make. The makers, I want to, you done priced me out, bud. That's not to shame anyone who's into the tech side, because again, when it comes time to do the surviving, everyone's going to have their part to play, and it would behoove everyone if you enjoyed the part you're playing. Hunting, you don't make him go play gardener or nanny. You let him go hunt. Everyone has their part. While I don't care for The Walking Dead's clearly biblical message, I do agree with when the end comes, we got to work together. Because all society's end, y'all. That's just a byproduct of society. What we're seeing in America right now, the USSR saw because of us. Cuba has seen before and recovered from. Mexico has seen it and recovered from it. Now, no one's done it on the scale that we're doing it. But hell, nobody's as messy of a bitch as we are here in America, right? Hell yeah, America. But that's the thing, though. This isn't even uncommon in the history. It's just buckle up, kids, because we're getting to go through it. I would highly, highly beg of y'all to grab hold of those capitalists before they try to flee. Because once they realize the system's going down, well, you're going to see a lot of boats and planes leaving the U.S. en masse on Earth rather than Elysium. Surely everyone saw that very outdated movie, right? It got brought up in some more. Said, I do think that you should have the good dignity to beg your viewers for money. Don't sell out to the corporations that are killing us. That being said, though, I do like how they basically, Cody drinks a bottle of the green slop and says how delicious it is while making a pained face. It's like, they're telling you the product's garbage, but due to the dystopian hellscape we live in, they gotta pitch it. But then I also think not so many Americans think so deep. I frequently get told when I'm looking into things, dude, it's not so deep, it's just a blank. And it's like, y'all don't realize, but when we're living through a fascist takeover, yeah, sometimes it is that deep. Sometimes they do hide shit in, well, for example, eugenics in a jeans commercial, and that's where I'm leaving it at because better people have already talked about it. I really can add nothing new to it other than everyone should be ashamed. Everyone involved in that ad should feel a right amount of shame for it. And now we should all just call it shame and move on, because no matter how you cut it, either it was a eugenics ad or it was a very pro, well, I don't know, what's the difference in a 17 and an 18-year-old? About 25 years. But how right is that? It's really fucking weird someone of your age group is asking about that age group, sir. But you know how it is, because the other thing is it was either a direct reference to a eugenics ad from American Eagle back in the day, or it was a reference to Calvin Klein and their obviously underage model, who again did a very titillating ad, we'll say, and said, but nothing comes between me and my Calvin Klein. Nothing. And again, in and of itself, if it were, say, Selma Hayek, I hope I'm getting that actress right, or whoever you're attracted to, if it was Commander Pike, yeah, baby, why not? Let's do it. But when it's a kid, and we know it's a kid, it just feels gross, you know? It's like that one not VTuber, she's a YouTuber, but she has the brat persona and she made an OnlyFans. And again, can't be mad at the girl for making money, but it upsets me about the culture with how much she made, if that made sense. Because there are always going to be gross perverts in a group. I've come to accept that as a byproduct of humanity. But y'all, this girl could go to college now just because she streamed from the time she was 13. And then at 17, she made one final big stream to say, hey, y'all, it's my birthday tomorrow. And now I'm starting an OnlyFans. Tee-hee. And she did. And y'all, when I say she families, shame. But no, it's America, so it's cool. She's a girl boss. And it's like I said, y'all, I'm running around reading the books, trying my best. And now I'm about to go work about 9 hours without break cooking food for folks. I'd say pray for America, but I don't think those prayers go anywhere. So I'll settle for, hey, bud, if you got some pocket change, there's a cup at your local library. Go ahead and throw some money towards the education if you want. And then on the last mile, this last bit gets a little tricky. So I'm going to let y'all go so I can keep my full attention on the road. And I'll see y'all this afternoon. Like I said, probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock. Right after I get done at Ingles. As I'm leaving their parking lot likely, I'll start streaming for y'all. And we'll go till we get to the end of the road or my battery dies. Or I do. Either in the future or otherwise. It's up to you to be the difference you want to see. Next time it won't be so dark. Bye for now.